Hi, and welcome to Practice Enhancements. I'm your host, Rich Wright, and today my guest is here to tell you about a product that will revolutionize your accounting practice. Please welcome Don Shyster.
Rich, this new product will be a real game changer for CPA firms. You're familiar with reviews and audits, correct?
Of course, those are assurance engagements.
What if I told you I had a product that could provide assurance with little to no exposure to the practitioner? What would you say to that?
I'd say I'd have to see it to believe it.
Rich, let me introduce you to SSAE 19. Unlike SSAE 18, which simply clarified the older standards, this is brand new and adds more flexibility. But don't take my word for it. Listen to these satisfied practitioners.
One of the things I like about SSAE 19 is that I am no longer required to obtain a written assertion from the responsible party that the subject matter complies with the underlying criteria, such as a law or regulation.
Having performed agreed-upon procedures engagements for many years, I was pleased that SSAE 19 allows my client and me to develop procedures over the course of the engagement. I can't tell you how many times I started procedures only to wonder if they would really meet the needs of my client.
Hey, I've changed my mind. Can we change the procedures again?
SSAE 19 has improved the logistical workflow by removing the requirement for intended users to take responsibility for the sufficiency of the procedures.
Not my fault.
My favorite aspect of the SSAE 19 is the allowance of a general use report. The old requirement for a restricted report was somewhat, well, restricting.
So, Rich, what do you think?
I have to admit, it sounds pretty amazing, but I think my audience would like to know a little bit more about this type of engagement. Am I right?
Well, of course, Rich. First off, an agreed-upon procedures engagement is an attestation engagement in which a practitioner performs specific procedures on subject matter and reports the findings without providing an opinion or conclusion.
When you say subject matter, I assume you mean something related to a financial statement, right?
Well, it could be, Rich, but it could also be non-financial.
Non-financial? You've got to be kidding.
Nope. You could perform procedures on compliance with some regulation, adherence to internal controls, or even the votes at the Academy Awards.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing!
I was worried that my bookkeeper was not properly balancing my checkbook, so I engaged my accountant to verify the cash balance on 6 months of bank reconciliations directly with the bank.
My bank wanted an audit of my financial statements because I had a line of credit to cover my inventory. But I simply couldn't afford the cost of the audit, so my bank agreed to an agreed-upon procedures engagement where my accountant would perform counts of my physical inventory at specified times. It gave the bank the assurance they were looking for, and it saved me a load of money.
Was that 25 or 26? Dang it, these things really do multiply.
Like, I engaged my CPA to come into my coffee shop and count how many people use the free Wi-Fi without buying anything. Hey dude, I told you the restroom is for customers only.
So, Don, you say that SSAE 19 covers agreed upon procedures engagements, so I assume that we have to agree upon some procedures, right?
Well, of course, Rich, that's the whole idea. You see, the client best understands their needs, so the client tells the accountant what procedures they want performed.
Wait, the client makes the decision on the procedures? I'm not so sure that's such a great idea, Don.
Now hold on, Rich. The accountant is still allowed to assist with the development of the procedures, but the accountant is not responsible for the sufficiency of the procedures.
Now that is truly amazing.
Of course, the accountant will have to obtain an engagement letter to make sure both parties fully understand the engagement.
You know, Don, this sounds really great, but I think our audience would like to see some examples of the types of procedures you could be engaged to perform. Am I right?
Rich, I think it's a great idea. Let's take a look.
SSAE 19 is a multi-purpose product that can be used for virtually anything. Here are just a few of the many applications. Validity of your cash receipts or disbursements. Due diligence when buying or selling a business. Verification of cash balances. Reviews of your system of internal control. Compliance with royalty agreements. SSAE 19 can even be used to perform procedures related to greenhouse gas emissions.
How about that?
I'm impressed. Why don't we give one of our audience members a chance to win a free copy of SSAE 19?
Absolutely.
How about you? Come on up.
Prior to the report, the accountant will be required to obtain a written agreement from the engaging party of the procedures and their appropriateness.
I'm guessing that you'll want to make sure the party understands the procedures and that you have the chance to suggest alternatives.
That's right, Rich.
No, it's Rich Right.
That's a good one.
Welcome. What's your name?
Jen.
So, Jen, how would you go about getting this written agreement?
Why don't you just put in your engagement letter?
Correct! You just want a copy of SSAE 19.
That's it? And we'll be right back.
With SSAE 19, you'll have guidance on presenting your findings. Your findings will be capable of objective verification and will not include opinions, conclusions, or recommendations. SSAE 19 makes it clear that all findings should be reported. But wait, SSAE 19 also provides guidance on language to be used to avoid the unintentional conveyance of assurance. You'll want to avoid such words as reasonable, adequate, or close enough. Call today to order yours.
I know SSAE 19 is great, but don't take my word for it. Let's hear from our celebrity guest, the original Captain Cork, William Schaffner.
SSAE 19 provides me with the guidance I need for client representations and to write a proper report. It allows me to boldly go where no accountant has gone before. Can I get my check now?
Well done. I have to admit, I'm sold. So when can we all get started with SSAE 19?
Well, Rich, you're going to have to wait a little bit because the effective date is for reports dated after July 15th, 2021.
Wow, Don. The audience seems a little disappointed.
Tell you what, Rich, since I'm in a generous mood today, I'll allow everyone in our viewing audience to implement the new standard early. Now, how about that?
I think you've won them over, Don. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, I'm your host, Rich Wright, wishing you all good
practice enhancement.